Adrian Hale's Bentley pulled into his circular driveway at 12:47 a.m. The billionaire CEO had just closed a deal worth hundreds of millions, but exhaustion weighed on his shoulders like lead. His mansion stood silent against the night sky, every window dark except for security lights casting long shadows across manicured lawns. He expected complete silence. His staff knew the rules. After midnight, the house belonged to him alone. No noise, no distractions, just a peace that money could buy. But as he stepped through the marble foyer, something was wrong. Water was running somewhere it shouldn't be. The sound pulled him down the east wing corridor like a fishing line. Each step echoed off polished walls decorated with priceless art. The running water grew louder, more urgent. It was coming from the guest bathroom near the main hall. His jaw tightened. Someone had broken protocol. Adrian pushed the door open and froze. His world tilted on its axis. There, slumped against the white porcelain toilet, sat Lucy Martinez in her blue mage uniform. But that wasn't what stopped his heart. Strapped to her back in a makeshift sling were two tiny babies dressed in orange onuses, their small heads resting peacefully on her shoulders. Towels were scattered across the marble floor like a battlefield. A button knife lay beside the toilet tank, water still trickling from a loose valve she'd been fighting. Her yellow cleaning gloves were stained and torn. Dark circles shadowed her eyes, but even in exhaustion, her arms stayed protectively around the sleeping infants. The scene hit him like a physical blow. This woman had brought children into his home, into his sanctuary, into a bathroom filled with industrial cleaners and broken plumbing. Every rule he'd established, every boundary he'd set, lay shattered on those wet towels. But something else stirred in his chest, something he hadn't felt in years. The babies breathed peacefully, completely trusting the woman who held them. Despite everything wrong with this picture, they were safe, protected, loved. Lucy. Adrian's voice cracked like a whip through the small bathroom. What the hell is this? Her eyes snapped open, wide with terror. She jerked upright, one arm instinctively steadying the babies as they stirred. The movement sent a fresh wave of water trickling from a broken valve. "Mr. Hale, please," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Don't raise your voice. They'll wake up. In my house." His words came out sharp enough to cut glass. "You know the rules, Lucy. No dependents. No exceptions. Ever." She swallowed hard, her throat working against obvious fear. The daycare closed today. Pipe bursts flooded the whole building. My babysitter didn't answer her phone. I called everyone I know. I had nowhere else to go. So you brought them here. Adrian stepped closer, his shadow falling across the makeshift nursery, into a bathroom with bleach, broken pipes, and industrial cleaning supplies. Lucy's chin lifted slightly, a spark of defiance flickering in her exhausted eyes. "Yes, because you told me this bathroom had to be perfect before your morning guests arrived. Every surface spotless, every fixture gleaming. I cleaned every corner, Mr. Hale. Every single one. You could have called maintenance about the valve." "I did." Her voice cracked but held steady. "They said tomorrow. But tomorrow would be too late for you, wouldn't it? You wanted perfection tonight. I tried to give it to you." One of the twins whimpered softly. Without hesitation, Lucy shifted her weight, rocking gently until the sound faded back into peaceful sleep. The movement was automatic, instinctual. Even in crisis, her children came first. "All I had was this knife and 2 children who need formula in the morning," she continued. "This isn't recklessness, Mr. Hale. This is survival. You asked for a spotless house. I made it spotless. I didn't know how else to do both." Adrian stared at the crude repairs, the towels soaking up water, the red welts on her hands where the gloves had rubbed raw. The valve had been jammed tight, requiring real strength to turn. "What are their names?" The question escaped Adrian's lips before he could stop it. His voice had dropped to barely above a whisper. Lucy's posture straightened slightly. "Matteo and Daniel, 7 months old." Her chin lifted with fierce pride. "They are not sick. They are not trouble. They are just mine." Adrian felt something shift inside his chest. These weren't abstract rule violations anymore. They were Matteo and Daniel, real children with real names, sleeping peacefully despite the chaos around them. You broke company policy, he said, but the fire had gone out of his voice. I did. No apology, no excuse, just simple truth. HR will demand your termination tomorrow. Luce's laugh was bitter, hollow. Then fire me tonight, Mr. Hale. Right now. So I know whether I'm walking home with him on my back or waiting for a bus that never comes after midnight. Just don't leave me guessing. Her directness hit him like a slap. Adrian rubbed his forehead, feeling the weight of the decision pressing down on him. You don't understand the liability risk this creates for me. And you don't understand the risk I face every single day. Her voice cut through the air like a blade. If I stay home, they starve. If I bring them, I break your rules. Either way, I lose everything. But tonight, I fixed your problem and kept them safe. The silence stretched between them, heavy with unspoken truths. In the background, the damage valve ticked like a metronome, marking time in a standoff that would change everything. Tell me, Mr. Hale, Luce said quietly, who really failed here? Adrian crouched beside the toilet tank, examining her repair work. She'd managed to stop the leak using nothing but determination and a butter knife. The fix was crude but effective. He twisted the valve properly and secured it. The sound of running water finally ceased. You almost hurt yourself with that knife, he said, standing and brushing off his hands. And yet the leak is gone, she replied, her voice quiet but edged with steel. Adrian studied her face. Exhaustion threatened to pull her under, but her back remained straight, defiant, unbroken. You're not walking anywhere tonight. The words came out of Adrian's mouth before his rational mind could stop them. Tears immediately filled Luce's eyes. She turned her head away, fighting for control. I don't need your pity. This isn't pity, Adrian said, his voice growing firmer with each word. This is me admitting you did more for this house tonight than anyone else on my payroll. Her lip trembled. For a moment, she couldn't speak. Stand up slowly, Adrian ordered. You will collapse if you move too fast. Lucy rose shakily, her legs unsteady after sitting on cold marble for hours. She clutched the sling straps tightly, protecting her children even in her weakness. Adrian extended his hand. She hesitated, then took it. Her palm was warm, rough from work, trembling with exhaustion. From down the hall came the crackle of a security guard's radio. Footsteps approached. Adrian immediately straightened, squaring his shoulders. If anyone asks, you stopped the leak, he said quietly. Not a word about the twins. Not tonight. Luce's eyes widened in shock. You'd cover for me. Adrian looked down at Matteo and Daniel, their tiny faces peaceful in sleep, then back at their mother. Sometimes rules are written wrong. Sometimes breaking them is the only way anyone notices. Her throat caught. Thank you. The guard's footsteps grew louder. Adrian stepped into the hallway first, positioning himself between Lucy and whatever consequences might come. Stay behind me, he murmured. Diego, the night security guard, appeared at the top of the stairs. Mr. Hale, motion sensor triggered. Everything all right? His eyes landed on Lucy and the sling across her shoulders. Sir, is she? She fixed the leak. Adrian cut him off smoothly. Stand down. Diego hesitated, clearly confused, but nodded. Yes, so. When the guard disappeared, Adrian guided Lucy toward the kitchen. She looked ready to collapse, her twins shifting softly in their sleep. The adrenaline was wearing off, leaving pure exhaustion in its wake. Sit, he ordered. I can't, Lucy began. Sit. His tone left no room for argument. She lowered herself into a chair, clutching Daniel as he stirred against her chest. Adrian opened the refrigerator and pulled out a bottle of milk. His hands were stiff and unpracticed as he warmed it, but his determination was absolute. This moment required action, not just words. You don't need to do this, Lucy whispered. Yes, Adrian said firmly. I do. He handed her the warm bottle. Feed him. She obeyed silently. Daniel latched on immediately, his tiny hands grasping at the bottle. Matteo pressed closer to her chest, sensing the comfort in the room. For several minutes, the only sound was the soft rhythm of a baby drinking. Adrian leaned against the marble counter, watching this woman who had turned his world upside down. I could fire you tonight. Save myself the headache with corporate lawyers and insurance companies. That's what everyone expects me to do. Lucy looked up, her eyes glistening. Then why don't you? Because I saw those towels. I saw your bleeding hands. I watched you keep 2 infants calm while fixing a leak with a butter knife. His voice grew rough with emotion. I built this empire by demanding perfection from everyone around me. But I missed something crucial. People don't live inside rule books. They live inside emergencies. Her lip trembled. So, I'm not asking for special treatment. Just a chance to work without choosing between feeding my children and keeping my job. Adrian exhaled slowly. Then you'll have it. Lucy froze. What? I'm rewriting the company policy. Tonight, an emergency clause for parents facing childcare crises. No one loses their job for surviving. He pulled out his phone and began typing. Tomorrow, HR will scream at me about liability and costs. Let them. Tay slid down her cheeks. I don't believe this. I've heard promises before. Don't believe my words, Adrian said. Believe the changes you'll see. By dawn, the mansion buzzed with activity. HR arrived with termination papers and left with orders to build an emergency childcare facility. Investors filled the main hall for breakfast meetings, admiring the spotless marble floors. None of them noticed the nursery plan spread across Adrian's desk. When a reporter asked what kept him awake at night, Adrian didn't mention market volatility or corporate rivals. He said quietly, the fear that I'm successful, but not good. Lucy left that morning with Matteo and Daniel sleeping peacefully in their car seats. At the elevator, she paused. I broke your rule. You could have made an example of me, she added. I did, Adrian replied with a slight smile. Just a different kind of example.